What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the video, and today we are going to be talking about Brad Keselowski confirming that he will be joining Roush Fenway Racing and becoming a part owner of the team in 2022. If you guys do enjoy, be sure to like, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below your guys' thoughts. It has been a fat minute since I have said that. And it feels nice. It definitely feels nice, but a couple things I want to get into before I get into the main thing, just really quick, I swear. If you guys saw my tweet a couple days ago, basically I was about to post a what if, and it didn't work out. It will be out eventually, but I have a couple videos in the next couple of weeks to, get you guys back in the swing of things, and hopefully I have to completely re-record the entire what if. I had to upload on YouTube and everything, but I have to completely re-record the what if and go back through and fix it, and hopefully I get it right this time and we don't have to worry about pushing it back again. But until then, I got a couple videos in the next couple of weeks to hopefully keep you guys over. But do not worry, there is a what if that should be out by the end of July, so there's that. But anyways, without further ado, I'm not going to hold you guys back because you guys came to see about my thoughts about Brad Keselowski going to Roush Fenway. I'm not going to hold you back on all that other stuff, so let's get right into it. So, like I explained earlier, if you guys did not know, Brad Keselowski will be going to Roush Fenway Racing, and it's going to be assumingly driving the 6th car, replacing Ryan Newman. I mean, I guess theoretically they could open up the 99 team, or not the 99 team, but 16 team. No, not the 16. What number would they have? 26 maybe? Maybe the 26 team. I don't know. Theoretically, they could, but I'm assuming they're going to keep it a 2-car operation for the time being and put Brad Keselowski in the 6, put their young prospect Chris Buescher, keep him in the number 7 team. And first off, coming from a Roush Fenway's perspective, I don't see any way this could possibly go wrong. Even if Brad Keselowski underperforms in the number 6, I think Brad Keselowski without that is still a huge win for this organization. Not just, like I said, not just off of his driving abilities, but also his knowledge of the sport, his knowledge of business and the sports business. Just like how business works in NASCAR. He's very insightful on that, very knowledgeable of how all the ins and outs of all that stuff, as he's made very evident in some of his interviews and a lot of his tweets I've seen. He seems very knowledgeable of all of that stuff. He's also very knowledgeable in how the car works. He's one of those guys that is good at giving feedback, and I think will help. Somebody that Chris Buescher, I think Ryan Newman also is very good at this, but I think somebody maybe that can give a different perspective than that of a Ryan Newman. So basically, just can kind of bring a fresh and new perspective, veteran perspective to Chris Buescher, and hopefully help Chris Buescher improve and what he's already improved on this season. So I think that's definitely a win there. Another veteran mentor for that of Chris Buescher. Even though I think Chris Buescher, he's getting up there in age a little bit. I'm not sure his exact age, but he is getting up there in age a little bit. But I also don't think Brad Keselowski will be a disappointment. I think Brad Keselowski is a very talented driver who hasn't had the best season so far. He had a good start, had a good little stretch there. He won at Talladega. He's got 5 top 5s and 5 top 10s. But you do expect more out of that 2-car from Penske and Brad Keselowski. But, if you look at it, Kyle Busch had a really rough season. I feel like everybody has a rough season here and there. And there's still a lot of this season left for Brad Keselowski to turn it around. So I don't think just because he's having a rough start to the season, I don't think that means that he is, a terrible, or he's declining yet. I think obviously there will be a decline at some point, but I don't think he is declining yet. And I think he still will be even if he is declining, I think he's still of value to this team. And yeah, I think that's really all that needs to be said on the Brad Keselowski team standpoint, or as a driver standpoint. Now let's talk about this co-ownership, because this co-ownership, I think is very, very huge for Roush Fenway's future. We know Roush is getting up there in age, so I don't know who he plans to pass it on to, but who knows? Potentially it could be Brad Keselowski. It's not the craziest thing. We see Jeff Gordon starting to make the moves in order to one day take over Hendrick Motorsports, it wouldn't be that crazy to think that Brad Keselowski could one day take over Roush. Now, I'm not sure what the relationship between Roush and Keselowski is now, but maybe over time that can, as he, is in this co-ownership of Roush, maybe that can develop, maybe that can turn into something where, Roush is kind of mentoring Brad Keselowski in the ways to run a team, and maybe one day he takes the reins, or maybe Brad Keselowski just uses this as kind of a learning opportunity to one day start his own team. He's made it very obvious, he's said it in multiple times, that his dream is to stay in this sport once his driving days are over, and pretty well insinuates that he wants to start his own team. Remember, he did have a truck team in BKR, Brad Keselowski Racing, in the truck series from the early 2010, somewhere in that range. So he did have that. He did end up closing that, but maybe since he's got this Roush deal, maybe he opens it up again. Who knows? I don't know, but that's purely speculation. But somewhere down the line, I do think Brad Keselowski will be a team owner in this sport, whether it be for Roush Fenway Racing or it be his own team or maybe even another team. He could go on to kind of have the Haas and Stewart, or why did I say Haas and Stewart? The Stewart-Haas deal where, I think they both have 50-50 ownership, or, kind of in that range. Tony Stewart has a lot of say in what goes on in that organization. I feel like Brad Keselowski definitely have a role at that. We don't know all the ins and outs of it, and there's a lot of different routes this partnership could go. But I think in the grand scheme of things for Roush Fenway Racing, this can only be a good partnership. One factor that maybe will go overlooked in this is that, Brad Keselowski races for Penske Racing, the top Ford team in NASCAR right now, and Roush is quite a few steps behind the speed of Roush Fenway. Honestly, and if you look at them right now, they're honestly on the same level as Stewart-Haas, but I don't know what's going on there. That's another topic for another day. But anyways, Brad is coming from Penske, the top team in Ford, one of the top teams in NASCAR, and he can now bring those ideas, those methods, ways to get, speed in the car. He can bring those from Penske to Roush, and I think that's a very overlooked fact that could I don't see why Brad Keselowski wouldn't, obviously, bring those methods over to Roush Fenway Racing, which can, on top of the next gen car, help bridge the gap, get this gap a little smaller between Roush and the top of the field. So that's another huge factor right there, I think, that you need to look into. There is only one thing I could really see, there's only one factor that I could really see this deal going completely south. There's a lot of talk that Roush is very traditional, very set in his ways, and that is the old ways of running a race team. Brad Keselowski will bring in a completely new method and way of running a race team. The old head, new head clash could potentially happen, and maybe that relationship doesn't develop very well, and maybe it doesn't work out because Roush is stuck in his ways, and Brad isn't really willing to accept Brad. But I feel like Roush would have to know going into this partnership that Brad would be bringing new ideas, and I think that's the plan, in fact, that Brad will bring new ideas that can help rejuvenate this team. So hopefully that's the plan. Hopefully that doesn't work out, but I just know I've heard some rumors that Roush is very set in his ways, very old style, if you will. So I don't know, we'll see. But moving on, looking at this from Brad Keselowski's standpoint, I don't know. From a career standpoint, completely unbiased of wants and needs, this is a downgrade. This is obviously a downgrade. I'm not saying that maybe Brad Keselowski is the key. Maybe he's the key to get Roush Fenway back to the top of the sport. I don't think that's really out of the question, in my opinion. But there's a very small opportunity there, especially when you consider the fact that Brad Keselowski is 38 at the end of his career, or heading towards the end of his career and end of his prime. So really, this was the time he needed to be trying to get that second championship. But now he's going to be, focused on rebuilding Roush. And like I said, it's not out of the question that in a couple years from now we see a Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher bringing Roush Fenway back to form. I really think that's a legitimate possibility. with this team. But that's just a possibility. It's not a fact. It's not set in stone. There's still a lot of work, a lot of stuff that has to happen, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen over just one season, and I think that's something that Brad Keselowski's got to live with. He's not going to be running the Penske Racing cars that he has had. Now, one factor that we, obviously got to put in there is the next-gen car is supposedly supposed to bring that gap a little closer, which leaves a little more wiggle room for talent to be of a factor. The talent of Brad Keselowski's 4-star car maybe can outrun some of the 5 stars just based off of his talent. So I was using stars based off, I guess, NASCAR heat terms, but you guys get what I'm saying. So it's very interesting to see if the next gen car will play. We just don't know. Obviously, we don't know how big of a factor the next gen will play in bridging that gap and getting that gap closer together. But I think this is probably the perfect year for that, I would say. I think Brad Keselowski is probably the best driver to get in a new car, because I think he's somebody who will be prone to figuring out the ins and outs of this new car faster than maybe other drivers and teams will. So I think that's a huge asset to have in this next gen era, is Brad Keselowski. So we'll just have to wait and see. But all in all, I'm super excited. I am super excited to see where this deal lands. I hope this goes well. I don't know if I said this, but I was a Roush fan growing up. They were my favorite team. Carl Edwards was my favorite driver of all time. Matt Kenseth was easily my second favorite driver, not of all time, but during the time he was at Roush. Over time, as like Ricky and all of them came in, I obviously kind of moved over to Hendrick because I'm more of a Chevy fan myself. But still, I always got a soft spot for Roush. Always like to see him do well. When Chris Buescher was leading that Homestead race, I was rooting for him. I don't even care. I was like, I don't even care if Chase Elliott gets up there. I want to see Chris Buescher go out there and win. But unfortunately, that obviously didn't happen. But all in all, I am happy to see this. I just don't see how this could be a negative thing. I don't see how this can make the team run any worse. So a lot of ways this can go, but I think the only direction it's going is up, if that makes any sense. But I'm gonna quit rambling here. This was completely unscripted, so if it was really weird, or I don't know if I was rambling a lot, repeating stuff, that's why it's unscripted. Most of my videos are scripted, so you don't have to worry about that a lot. But I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below your guys' thoughts. Let me know down below in the comment section, what do you guys think about this move? How do you think it's going to figure out? Am I being too optimistic? Am I being too pessimistic? Let me know down below in the comments. And that's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.